Hey Pepper Gang, the PvE is very challenging in active matter, and I know many new players struggle with it. I think even experienced players struggle with it because of the aggro ranges and large quantity of the PvE on all maps. But that's the nature of the game. It's supposed to be a difficult PvE PvP experience, but I do think there should be some balancing done on all the anomalies, but it's early access launch, and I think it's just a matter of time that they tweak these creatures. Anyway, after 30 some hours of learning during launch week, I wanted to pass on some knowledge on how to avoid and defeat the PvE that's currently in the game in its current state. I'm no pro at this game, but I have managed to defeat all the PvE in the game solo many times over, and I have learned how to avoid it for the most part. If you have further questions, have advice too, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. And you can always swing to my Twitch live stream, where I stream nearly every day, all sorts of extraction, shooter, and survival content too. But with that, let's get to it. Before I focus on each individual creature, just want to give you some general advice first. Audio is a massive trigger for these hordes, so you will see a theme of using a lot of melee in this guide. Melee is silent, it lowers the chances of pulling a bunch of mobs, and to be honest, it's more efficient to kill some things with melee over bullets. I typically run a suppressed Makarov pistol if I don't have a suppressed primary weapon in order to have a quiet way besides melee to kill. It's one of the first things you can unlock with the replicator along with the silencer. Ideally, you always want to be suppressed. Another tip that you can apply to upping your survival rate is taking your time and walking at snail pace. Literally snail pace. I have avoided a lot of mobs once I began slowing down, and my survival rate has slowly improved. I snail walk pretty much anytime I see a cluster of PvE mobs together and in thick jungle areas where there's a bunch of mines everywhere. I've avoided many mines just walking slow. You will also maintain more stamina to sprint away if it's conserved more often. That way, the moment shit hits the fan out of nowhere, you have enough to get away if needed, and that poor sucker that was fighting you is gonna get stuck fighting all the mobs. I have witnessed this happen before. As someone that loves fast-paced moments in games, I've been personally working on slowing down because it's very helpful in active matter. I've noticed it's just the best thing to do. Knowing when to sprint is an actual skill in itself. Now with that, let me break down the PvE in no specific order. Starting with the Distorted, they're one of the most common anomalies. Very easy to kill though, you just gotta melee them while they're asleep in the head. Straight in the head will one-tap them, or just shoot them one time in the head with a suppressed pistol or gun. And you can two-tap to melee them in the body in case you miss the head. They will teleport and dash around you. It might feel a little overwhelming at first, but just keep on meleeing and we'll drop them down quickly. I also like to throw grenades at the sleeping clusters that typically surround extraction points too. It's a strategy that you can use often with other mobs as well. Onto Hellhounds, there's usually a lot of them, but again, melee away, you will one-tap them each. Keep walking away where they seem to be spawning from, but continue to put them down one at a time. They're gonna bite at you, but the bite is harmless. As long as you're taking them down, you're gonna survive the engagement. They will continue to chase you and attract attention, so just make sure you knock them down. Hellhounds are honestly a piece of cake. Invisible Men, they used to be a pain in the ass when I was learning, but once you learn their moveset and how they jump around, you will get the hang of dropping them quickly. Once again, you want to melee and ideally aim for the head. This is a common theme across all mobs. They will jump around all over you, but with time, you can learn their jumps and move accordingly. It can be annoying, but many times if I see or hear an Invisible Man, and I move a little more aggressive towards them and try to melee them before they actually engage on me. Many times I've been able to weaken them and then two-tap them once they pay attention. On to Dendroids, aka Groots. Once again, melee away, but I also treat them like the turned Scavs that have weapons, since the Dendroids occasionally carry guns, but a lot of times they run around with knives trying to shank you. Fire can work well as well. I just treat them just like the turned, and if you didn't know, they just got nerfed in the recent patch, so I'm actually glad to see Gaijin already starting to balance PvE, starting with some of the toughest creatures like Dendroids, only a week into early access launch, so have some hope when it comes to balancing. Onto Flowermen, these are my least favorite, the ones I bitch about, the ones that a lot of people bitch about, and for good reason. They hit a little too hard right now, especially when they do a little fury punch in your face. I don't take their quest often, and I avoid them ideally. But if I had to engage, I throw fire ahead of time, because a lot of times the fire will drop them on their own or just weaken them where you can one tap them. And also avoid the spores near their territory. If you hit the spores, it's probably going to trigger a Flowerman as well. Very prone to audio cues too, so the moment you see some nearby sleeping, start snail walking. Aim for the head, guys, and good luck against them. They're my least favorite. They're probably everyone's least favorite. On to mimics. Compared to the Flowermen, these guys are a piece of cake. They just seem intimidating because they move so quickly in bunches. But like the Hellhounds, just melee and aim for the little center mass. They drop very, very quickly. Onto the Hive Swarm. A flamethrower is ideal, but I know not everyone has access to one. Shotguns work best against them. I haven't tried Molotovs, but I have a feeling they would work well with a good toss. But the best thing about the Swarm is they'll leave you alone when you're indoors, so they're easy to avoid. But if you must fight them, peek in and out of a door or a window and weaken them with your gun. And once they seem to de-aggro a bit away from you, then you can run away from them. Onto the Turned, also known as the Scavs in this game. They're very simple. They're just gun guys like Tarkov Scavs. Don't hold the peek too long against them, because if you do, they will punish you. I've been one tapped in the head by them one too many times. Their aggro range is stupid nuts and needs some tweaking in my opinion. If you happen to see one far away, they will probably see you eventually, so sometimes get the jump on the turned creatures. Treat them like you would to the Dendroids. Onto the Stoners, the stoned creatures. It can be a little frustrating when you first start out, but this is why frags are very important, because that's the only way to destroy the Stoners. If you don't have grenades, you're gonna have to look at them while walking backwards, creating distance, and eventually running away. They will punch you pretty damn hard, so make sure there's plenty of room between you and the Stoner before you turn your back. Make sure to put some obstacles between you. A lot of times I will vault fences and walls in order to create that distance. Onto the mines, seeds, the red ones. You can avoid them pretty easily and you can shoot them, but ideally just keep on running and, like the Stoners, jump over fences, get some obstacles between you and the seeds. The other type of mines, the bouncy mines, use X, the bolts, to blow them up. There's a big blowback on them. I kind of underestimated this blowback when I first started, so make sure there's plenty of space between you and them. And if there's one bouncy mine, there's usually quite a few. They like to cluster up quite a lot. Onto the big ball of lightning. You don't have to fight them. They move kind of in a weird pattern, but you can predict where they're going typically if you watch them for a little bit. But you can just shoot them from afar with any weapon, and when it's ready to blow, it will pulsate. That's when you run backwards and get some cover before it blows up. Last but not least, the Devourer. Best way to fight it is you look at the core of the creature and you can time its attack. You can dodge it by running to the side, and then you can move closer, you dodge, you repeat this pattern until you get to its core, and when you get to the core, shoot it with your weapon or melee away. But that's the current list of PvE obstacles in the game in active matter as of now in early access launch. I could see adding them more and more with time, perhaps some bosses, and like I said, I see more balancing patches arriving in the near future. Let me know your thoughts below. Need me to clarify anything, ask any questions, tell me if I missed anything important. I do my best to cover everything without being too long here. Thanks for clicking the video, see you on Twitch, and have a wonderful rest of your day.